Welcome to my channel. I'm LeetCoder. If you guys are new to my channel, I pretty much do LeetCode style questions and I explain things in the simplest way possible. Today we have a pretty interesting problem today. It's a tree problem, so let's read the problem, right? So it says, given the root of a binary tree, right, return its maximum depth, right? It says a binary tree maximum depth is the number of nodes along the longest path from the root node down to the farthest leaf node, right? All right, that's pretty interesting. So we're given an example, right? So it says the farthest leaf node, right? So pretty much we can say that, the maximum depth is pretty much the maximum number of steps it takes to reach a leaf node, right? Starting from the root. So we can see that on this particular tree, right? For example 1, all right, 3, 20, 15. This path, or 3, 20, and 7, those two paths that I just said, right, are the longest path, right? So that's why we have the longest path is of 3, right? So now let's see the other examples, right? So we're gonna use the visualizer for that. Cool. So that's example 2, right? So you guys can see it. So pretty much we have 1, right, and 2 is the child, right? So pretty much this should be so it takes 1, 2, so 2 steps to reach the leaf node. So the depth should be of 2, maximum depth should be 2, right? And then if you got an empty tree, right, that's a depth of 0, right? So, and we're also given if there's only one node, right, then the depth of it is 1, right? That's the maximum depth, right? That's what I'm saying. So with that thought process, right, that approach, guys, let's try and solve the problem, right? So how we're gonna solve it, right? So let's just, so pretty much, we're gonna keep check. So the way we're gonna solve it, right? We're gonna, for every node, we're gonna check our left subtree and our right subtree, right? And then depending on the answer we get, right, we're gonna get the maximum out of the two, right? And then we're gonna do +1, right, to account for the current node that we're currently on, right? So yeah, the example, so let's say we have 3, right? So 3 is the root, right? 3 checks the left subtree, right, first, right? Then we're at 9 now. 9 now checks its left and right subtree as well, right? They both return 0 since there's no they're null, right? There's nothing there, right? So they return 0 to 9, right? Yeah, 9 goes left, 9 goes right. But unfortunately, there's nothing there, so it returns 0, and then now it gets the maximum out of the 2, right? Which is 0 still, right? And then returns +1, right, to account for itself, right? Because that's a depth of 1, right? So 9 returns 1 to 3, right? So now 3 has the answer that it needs from the left subtree, right? Now 3, the root node now needs to check the right subtree, right? So now it's gonna check the right subtree, guys. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna check it. So it checks this one, right? So now it's waiting on 20's answer, right? So this node's answer, the right subtree's answer, right? So now every tree does the same thing. Check its right and left subtree, right? Every time. So 20, this node checks its left subtree, right? So he says, all right, cool. I'm gonna let you know the answer to I'm gonna let you know the answer after I know the answer to my left and right subtree first, right? And then 20 checks its left first, right? And then 15 checks its left, right? It's right, all right? It knows the answers from those two calls, right? Which is 0, right? Then it returns +1 as well, right, to 20. So now 20 got the answer from its left child, right? Now 20 checks its right child, right? Does the same thing, check left, right, no, 0 +1, and then 7 returns 1 to 20, right? So they both return 1, and then 20 picks whichever one's the maximum, right? Since they're both the same, so it stays the same, right? So it's 1, right? So 20 chooses the best out of the 2, right? Which is 1 + 1, right? Now the maximum the maximum depth of this subtree, right, from the right side, right, is 2. So 20 returns 2, right, to 3, right? So it returns 2 to 3, and then now the three compares are, all right, so which one's the maximum out of the two, right? So is it a 1 that came from my left side or the 2 that came from my right side? So it chooses 2, right? And then it does +1 to account for itself, right? And then it returns the final answer to the caller, guys, and we are golden, we're free. So that's how the recursive calls are going to work, like I'm saying. So every time we check a left and right subtree, right, and then we wait for the answer, and then we make a decision when we get the maximum out of the two, right? So that's pretty much the whole problem, guys. I'm saying. So we're gonna use a helper function, right? So helper function that's gonna call root, right? Pretty much return the answer, right? So now, guys, we're gonna be going. So public int helper. So now it's gonna take in the root, right? It takes the root, and then we check now if the root is null, right? If there's nothing there, remember root gotta return 0, right? And now we're gonna recursively check our left child, right? Or we're gonna visit all of our children, right? So we pass in root that left, right? Because we're gonna check the left side. Then we go right as well, right? All right, so now we go right. And then now, once we do that, right? Once we get the answer from both calls, right? When we check left and right, we got the answer that we want, right? Then we can return to whoever called us, right? The answer that they're looking for, right? So we do map that max of either the left side or the right side, right? +1 to account for myself, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's why 15 returns 1 plus 1, 7 returns plus 1. Then 20 does the maximum of the 2 plus 1, right? So that's why it keeps going up and up, right? Every time we've done +1 to account for ourselves, right? So now, guys, let's run the code, see if we pass the small test cases. All right, we passed that small test case. Let's check all the test cases now. Perfect, guys. We're able to pass all the test cases, guys. Yeah, guys, let me know if I did a pretty good job at explaining this problem. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to answer it. And yeah, if you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe because I do a lot of videos like this. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.